Welcome, everybody, to a long-awaited edition of the Evil Ewok podcast. We are back with guest Jedi Bunny, aka Kelly. Welcome aboard.
Hello.
Woo!
Thank you for having me. Hello there.
Yeah, this is her second time now.
Yeah.
And also, we had a long conversation about how awful it is to live in California right now because the weather doesn't match the cost of living. And all I have to say to anyone who's aspiring to live in California, right now, you're not missing much. It's been gloomy, it's June gloom, and all I have to say is we want the weather to come back so we can tan. That's all we want to do.
It's a reasonable thing to ask for.
Yeah, I mean, everything is so expensive over here, and you think you might as well, just make it a little bit better. But anyway, in other news, this is the Evil Ewok podcast. We generally talk about Star Wars content. It's been a little slow, and we've been missing. So, I would say, where have we been all this time? And so we're so sorry for the long hiatus. I was in Europe, as you guys know, for like a while. And I came back, and then Kat left shortly after. So all three of us haven't really been together as the trio for quite some time. Kat, where did you head off to again?
We went to the East Coast to visit family, do some wedding planning, and so yeah, it kind of right as soon as you came back to the country,
You're like later.
I left.
Bye,
And
Felicia.
for real, literally, it's like the band broke up for like a month. It was like
So rude of you to time it like that, Kat. Not
I
cool.
know.
The headlines were going crazy. Everyone was waiting, wondering what happened to us. Basically, like the Beatles, right? They were like, "Where did they go? Are they going to come back together?" And here we are with our amazing guest, Kelly.
Yeah.
So, thanks for taking the time, Kelly. Thanks for popping on.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, we have quite a bit to talk about, but I wanted to address everyone who's here. So who's y'all here? So we got the Stanleys, we got Alice.
Our queen.
I've missed you, Alice. You have no idea. General Kenobi. Lots of hello there's. Wow. Meme lords have returned.
General Kenobi.
Oh, okay. So I hate to start it off on a sad note. I don't know if you're familiar with this, Kelly, but Ray Stevenson, I don't know if you know who he is. He is one of the, I guess, gray Jedi or whatever his labeling is going to be in the new Ahsoka show. He's like the bearded man with, I don't know if you saw the trailer. Yeah, he passed.
I did hear about that. That's really sad.
Yeah, it's brutal. I knew about his work far beforehand too, so I was really looking forward to actually seeing him bring, a Star Wars character to life, right? Only to hear that he passed away. And I was like, oh, it's probably one of those stupid, hoaxes where they're just trying to stir up clicks or whatever. And unfortunately, no, he did pass. And hopefully his character, naturally was supposed to end a certain way, and we're not like forced to kind of write him out, kind of like unfortunate with Carrie Fisher and Leia, right? But we'll kind of see what are your guys' thoughts on all of that.
I mean, it's really sad. He wasn't young, but he wasn't old either. He was definitely too young to die. So it's just really unfortunate for his family, and I don't know if he had kids, but certainly for his kids too. And like Star Wars is secondary. Like it comes secondary. It's a bummer on that front for sure, but I just really feel for his family. But on the Star Wars front, I feel bad that he's never going to get to see the impact that he's going to have on the fandom, because he seemed really excited about that at Celebration in his interview, and he was already in Star Wars. He voiced Gar Saxon, so he kind of got a taste of it, but I don't feel like it's the same as being one of the primary villains.
Live action too.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Kat, any thoughts? Any feelings?
It's just so, he has such a great portfolio of work, and I was on IMDb yesterday for this. It's the kind of database for all film and TV and actors, whatnot, and all of their portfolios and whatnot, all of their credits, and he's trending #1. So hopefully people will go and are appreciating it. He's so talented. Vikings, Rome, other huge shows and franchises that he left such a great mark on. So hopefully people are going and enjoying his legacy and his content. But it's definitely, I didn't believe it. I literally did not believe it when the news broke, and it is so tragic because Zach put it perfectly. He was definitely, it was shocking, too young.
He's literally my dad's age right now. So I'm like, that hit home. I'm like, we're not all immortal, right? And we need to cherish our loved ones.
How old was he exactly?
He was 58, wasn't he?
Oh my gosh, that's young.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like these days that's young. Life expectancy is so much higher. It's crazy to think back in not that long ago, like 100 years ago, life expectancy was like 39, died of old age.
We all would have been done by now.
Yeah, you got married, had kids at 13, you died at 22, right? It's that was like one of those
things. But now
things.
58, that's really young. That's really young. Wow.
Yeah.
Sad.
What up? What up, Bala of Mandalore? Notifications on 5 minutes late. How we are good. We took a little bit of a turn here to feel, but we get the sad stuff out of the way first. What up, Tmoney? Long time. Miss you, buddy.
Tmoney.
And yes, Zach said that too. I forgot he was Gar Saxon, but I consider live action to be a completely different medium.
You
I don't know about you guys.
You're such a snob.
It took me so long to watch the Clone Wars and Rebels, guys. I mean, I know you guys.
That was a mistake on your part. I mean,
it took a long time. I mean, they were coming out when we were in high school, middle school, right, Zach?
Yeah, high school. No, I mean, it was like middle school to high school, yeah. But
yeah,
I remember because I think you had a similar experience where we were kind of too cool for Star Wars for a while there.
Yeah.
I remember learning that they brought Darth Maul back, and I was like, "That's stupid. They shouldn't have brought. That's so stupid." And then when I watched it, I was like, "Oh, they actually did a pretty good job."
I just remember seeing trailers of like the Rebels, like sabers and stuff. I'm just like, that looks so dumb. I never want to. I would never. Let's just bring back live action stuff. I'm never gonna watch that. That's stupid. It's for kids. I'm too cool. I'm in high school. I play sports. I want to get girls. I can't watch Star Wars. Who does that?
Girls don't like Star Wars.
Yeah, girls don't like Star Wars. I have to work out and do all the masculine things, and then as you get older and things come into perspective and people aren't as, for lack of a better word, dumb, right? we're really dumb when we're kids about our priorities. You can really come back and reflect on like how magical Star Wars is and how it really is. It really transcends film. Like it's not so much a film as it is, a religion, if you will, right? To go to an extreme, right? It's something that everyone can identify with and interpret their own way. And it really is beautiful. Like Kelly, if you guys don't know, Kelly has amazing videos about like the psychology of Star Wars and really goes in depth about feelings and how to get through your day, and she's such a beautiful soul and a kind heart. And you guys should definitely go. If you aren't already, go subscribe to her and pop on her live streams because she's just a sweetheart in everything that she does over there. It'll make your day for sure.
And not even just Star Wars. I remember I watched your horror movie, like the video you did about that. That was really good too.
Thank you. I love that one. That's like my favorite one because I'm such a sucker for horror, but I have a very specific love of very specific type of horror that I like. And I like when horror has an emotional core to it. So thank you for saying that. It's a special one.
Actually, that's interesting. Horror. So Amanda loves horror. I think you guys had this discussion. She's like her favorite genre. She likes watch. She just saw the new Evil Dead, and she actually was sad that there wasn't a lot more brutal deaths and killings. And that's just like that's never been my thing. I don't like horror. I don't like being scared. And even though she's gonna make us go to horror nights, right? I went to Knott's, like you guys know, with Kat, right? And we just threw Kat out in front, and she.
Oh no!
I wanted her to get all the guys popping out at her and scaring her, so I know where they all are, so they don't scare me, right? Because I hate that. So we use Kat as like the.
Yeah, that's always the plan.
Meat
right?
shield. Yeah, we always use Kat as the meat shield on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So yeah, that's her favorite. Not a thing for me. Kelly, you love it. Kat,
well,
you love
I'm so specific. I don't like gratuitous violence or gore. That's actually my least favorite part of horror. So I'll watch horror, but I like when the gore somehow. I like practical effects gore though. Like when
Okay.
it's really
Like
cool
the art
practical
about it,
effects.
like it
Yeah,
looks so real. Yeah, you
yeah,
can respect it in a
I
way
can
so you
respect
like it.
that.
Yeah.
But I don't like a lot of violence. I would be if I was at Horror Nights. I would be in the back, like going like this. The whole I don't love it. But yeah, I like when horror has more of a grounding in humanity, I guess. Like
Mhm.
not completely nihilistic horror, not completely gory, violent horror.
I think she's just a everything horror, especially gore.
Yeah.
Like she wa like a cat. Didn't you have a stream with the Terrifier people?
Yes, with one of
Yeah.
the producers. Yes.
Yeah.
That one I have heard people literally were leaving the theater because it
Oh.
was a lot. I too also I can't handle too much blood is where I draw like the line. So I agree with that. I'm more into
So you can't get like your blood drawn or anything.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I had to get my blood drawn a couple weeks ago and they took like 5 vials because they were testing me for allergies.
oh.
You're
It
just
was
like, I'm gonna die.
oh my gosh. I was watching the girl that was doing it had like big gauged ears and she had Batman gauges in her ears. And I was just like staring at her Batman gauges. And I swear like it was emblazoned in my, you know, when you look at something for a long time and then you look away, you can still see it. I like closed my eyes and Batman was there, like the Batman symbol.
Look at the Batman. Look at the Batman. Don't think about the blood.
Oh my gosh.
That's so funny.
Real
Go
quick
ahead.
before you move back to Star Wars, I think everyone should give their favorite horror movie. I'll start.
Yeah.
Mine is definitely Hereditary. I love Hereditary.
Ooh.
Oh, I saw that once and I'll never see it again. But I loved it. It was excellent, but it broke my soul. I just couldn't.
It's depressing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
This is gonna be so hard for me. You guys can go before me.
I think I'm gonna go. I love the Halloweens. I love Halloween, that franchise. But if I had to pick like just one single, I love Poltergeist.
Oh, have you seen the Poltergeist house? And it's outside of It's not that far.
Wait,
what area is it? It looks just the same. You can drive there from.
Wait.
I think it's technically part of LA. You can see it, and it looks just the same. It doesn't have the tree because the tree was fake, but it looks exactly. You can also see E.T.'s house or Elliot's house.
Oh my god!
You should go see the Poltergeist house. I love that one. Talk about good practical effects.
Oh, that's sick. I didn't even know it was there.
It's so cool. You should do it around like the fall for Halloween. Just go to like different places.
Get the vibes. OMG, you're right. Oh my gosh, I will find it. Oh my god,
it's really cool. It's cool. Yeah, I want to go back. I've seen like where they filmed. Elysian Park is where they filmed Terminator 2. The scene where they're watching like the explosion of LA, the city. It's really so the part of the fence is still there. Yeah, there's a lot of cool places.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
For me, it would be The Shining, hands down. But I saw that Serena Higgins said Alien, which I would have to agree is an amazing horror. I love considering the first Alien horror. I think that's
awesome. It definitely combines genres a lot to the point to where it's like you feel like you're there and you're confused as to whether or not this is a film or not, right? Yeah, 100%. I think when I look at horror, I think of the things that go into like the dimensions and like demons, because that shit scares the shit out of me, right? Like gratuitous violence, like I laugh at, right? Like I don't like that doesn't get me at all. It's just I'm not interested in it. But like the stuff like Insidious, I think that's just coming in my head right now. The things where like you transcend dimensions and there's different like you can see the demons and they're trying to steal kids and all that, like all that stuff, like all the folklore about it. It's like it's scary, right?
Darth Maul's in that movie.
The idea he is. The idea of it being real is terrifying, right?
For the one who doesn't like horror, you picked you favor the scariest version because like that's the scariest stuff for me too. Like demons, exorcisms, like
because it gets me feeling, right? The movies that get me feeling and thinking and like I'm scared. I remember when I first watched it, I kept all my lights on for like a couple days. I didn't want to see that red guy, or I just kept. It was so scary to me when I watched it in the theaters, and it stuck with me ever since. Right, most of everything that Juan has released after that, like The Conjuring, like those don't really get me. But for some reason, Insidious, when I watched it, it just got me. Right.
I want to go to the Conjuring house so bad, though.
Yeah.
Where is that?
It's in Rhode Island.
Oh my gosh, I'm from Rhode Island. I have to go see that.
Yeah, definitely.
That's so creepy. Oh, they're one of the creepy. Though I don't want to get into like real scary stories because that's a whole different vibe. We won't go there. But one of the scariest stories I know is, or like one of the unsolved mysteries with Robert Stack is from Rhode Island. Just thinking about it freaks me out. Not
Like
gonna
the
go there.
idea of Rhode Island?
No, this one. I have a.
I'm just
I'm not going
kidding.
to say it because it's going to bring the whole vibe
Yeah.
down. But it's a unsolved mystery from Rhode Island. It's just one of the weirdest things, and I'm just thinking of it in my head. I'm not going to say it.
Like the, well, it's a side note. Yeah, like the I guess real life fear of horror in the past, right? With the Salem witch trials, right? You can kind of bring that they thought that was real. Like it was a very prevalent thing in our brains to be scared of things, and then what things we don't understand we just burn or get rid of, right?
Yeah.
And it was a terrible time, and a lot of bad things happened out of fear, right? And then
She
Star Wars taught
turned
us
me
to
into
not
a
let
newt.
yeah, and then literally Star Wars taught us, fear leads to the dark side, right? So we don't let we let the fear take us in the moment, and then we realize it's a movie, and then we're okay. We're not going to go burn witches at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
But I do like the Saw franchise. That's another franchise that I will say, before we get back to Star Wars again, another franchise that I will say is more of like the thriller type of vibe rather than it just being direct horror, because there's a lesson and there's a moral that's taught in it, and it's really deep and it's pretty cool and it's very creative in a lot of ways. Like it's like in some ways it's kind of like Dexter, right? Because Dexter kills people who are bad, right? And that's kind of what the I always forget, is it Jigsaw? It's Jigsaw, right? That's what he does. But anyway, okay, did everyone say their favorite Sky movie?
I believe
Yeah.
so.
I think so.
Okay, well, we will move on. And no, Eli, sorry, I forgot to answer. I have not finished Survivor. I finished the first mission when I streamed it, and I have had no time since to do it, and I still haven't watched the playthroughs, and I have no idea how the story goes, so don't spoil it for me, please.
Oh, dude, every single person dies.
Darth Vader dies
Yeah.
at the end.
Wait, so Alex, is your favorite horror movie actually Insidious, or is that
I
just
think
your?
right now it's just what's coming up in my head. There's probably another
Okay.
one, but
Mm,
I like the ones that scare me to my core, to make me think about things that could actually be real, right? Those are the things that, like brutal slashers and murdering, like that, doesn't faze me at all. Like, which by the way, the new Scream was great. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Ooh,
Did
no,
you
I
guys see
haven't
it?
seen it.
I've never
Not
seen
yet.
any of the
Oh,
Screams.
the new, it's great. It's
I'm
like super
behind.
self-aware about what it is.
Interesting.
It's
Oh, I
weird.
like
Very
that.
weird kind of dynamic, but the movie is great. I think it's probably the best horror / I don't know, thriller that I've seen in a very long time.
When did
And I don't
this
watch
one
them
come
very
out?
last year?
Oh wait, did I see? Was that the one with Jenna Ortega?
Yes.
The first one with Jenna
Well,
Ortega.
there's two of them with Jenna.
Oh.
She's in the she's in the new one too.
Yeah.
Yes.
But is this the second one with her or the first
yes,
one with her?
there's another one with
so
her.
I haven't seen the new one.
It's
I saw
5, I think, right? Scream 5.
Is this the one in New York City?
Yes. Yes. Very good though. Very good. Definitely watch it. Okay. Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger is the best.
I like Serena Higgins in the chat. I like her taste. Silence of the Lambs is also amazing. I feel like that's maybe more of a psychological thriller, but yeah. I love that one too.
It puts the lotion on its skin.
Sal says What We Do in the Shadows.
I love that show.
It's so good.
What We Do in the Shadows. So I was just having a conversation with someone. They said that it's a movie as well as a show.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
started
There's a
as
movie
film.
too. Okay, I heard the film is really good.
It
So
is.
It's just
I just
hysterical.
watched I remember I told Kat this. I watched 2 or 3 episodes of What We Do in the Shadows, and it just didn't hit with me yet. So I feel like I had to keep going, and I didn't. I watched something else, right? I probably watched The Office for the 8th time again. But I definitely should give it a try, but I need to see that film because I hear the film is great. So
The movie is some of the hardest I've ever laughed. But I think
Really?
you might have more of an appreciation for the series if you watch the show or the film.
Yeah.
The film gives a lot of context, and then the series kind of just piggybacks off of the ground that it lays. So, but the movie is spectacular, and Taika Waititi is is great.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so good. And yeah, like Kat says, I think it lays the ground. You get some of the world building, the character building in there, and the tone, like the tone of the humor, because it is
Mhm.
kind of different. I don't know. Have you
Yeah,
guys?
it's like
Speaking
dry,
of,
right? In a lot of
yeah,
ways. Yeah.
have any of you guys watched? I think you should leave.
I've seen some of it. Yeah,
It's
it's
like the
pretty
most
funny.
absurd humor I've seen recently, and I don't
think you
know.
should leave. It's a show or a movie?
It's a show. It's a show on Netflix. It's just
Okay.
It's like sketch humor, but it's really absurd.
Okay.
It's like Key and Peele, sort of.
Oh,
Yeah, but maybe
Okay.
even more out there. It's really outlandish.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I miss a lot of like the crazy, quirky slapstick comedy in a lot of ways. Like,
You know what's like Tim and Eric? Have you ever seen Tim and Eric?
no,
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
no, it's
I'm
okay.
letting you down.
No, it's not letting me down at all, because it's just strange humor. It's obscure humor. I guess it's kind of absurdist. It's like, it's just weird. It just kind of like makes everything fall. It's like the chaos theory of sketch humor, maybe. Everything just falls
Okay.
apart, but in a
Okay.
good way.
Gotcha. Yeah, I always really liked Austin Powers.
Austin Powers.
Growing up, I was exposed to that really early, right? So,
Mhm.
I based all my humor around like dry British humor and Mike Myers, right? So,
Aw.
yeah, I don't know. I'll check those out for sure.
Mhm.
Oh, there's 6. Yeah, so it's the 6th one then. The 6th one.
6.
So watch the 6th one. I don't think you need to see any prior to. I mean, you kind of do, but I didn't. So I just came in cold and watched the 6th one, and it was great. Like, it didn't feel like it started somewhere where I'm like, wait, what happened? It's kind of like a fresh beginning in some ways. I don't know. It's great though. Is What We Do in the Shadows. Nandor and Laszlo are 2 of the greatest TV characters in the past 5 years.
I would agree with that.
Their names are Nandor and Laszlo. That's funny.
Yeah, you would know. You said you watched the first.
I don't remember. I just remember I didn't like it, and I need to give it a shot. Then that's on me.
So it's one of those things that grows on you once you get a feel. It's different because it puts you in a different world, so you kind of have to adapt a little bit to it, and get used to it, live in it for a little bit. Like, you know, when sometimes there's an incubation period before you can really like something, you have to like push through it.
Yeah,
it's one of those
100%. And it is like that with a lot of shows. Like, you start it and you get immersed in that world. Now that you're immersed in that world, you don't really want to watch anything else but that show because you feel like you're there. And that's kind of the bad thing about starting, like really liking a show, right? Starting it, and then you're next thing you know, you've already watched all of it, right? Because you're either using it as like background music or background noise, or you're just watching it because you really like it so much, right? You realize, oh, I just spent 6 hours watching something I've already seen again, right? And because it just you feel like you're there anyway, and very interesting.
I wonder if there's like a psychological term for that, because that's a really good point. When you're binging something, it's almost like it becomes, you want to be in the world, and you're in the world of the characters, but you're also in that setting and the vibe and the energy of it. It's just all encompassing. That's why binging is such a, when you want to watch, you want to keep watching, and you're thinking about it when you're at work. And
yes, that has to be true, because I just finished, like, especially if it's a show you actually like. Some shows I just continue to watch just to say like I finished it, but like I just finished binging Mindhunter, like, which isn't even like a comfort show, but I felt I was so in it, and I just finished, and I feel like I just set myself up for failure because it's a phenomenal show with only 2 seasons, canceled by Netflix. Like, it's never going to happen.
It's so atmospheric. It's so heavy, and you should watch, if you like Mindhunter, you should watch Blackbird. It's a limited series, but that one's really good too. And
sweet.
The actor in it that plays, I don't want to give anything away, but there's 2 actors. One is the protagonist, and the kind of like the guy in the jail. I don't want to give away anything, but his last name is Hauser. The actor, I just was so mesmerized with his acting. I've never seen anything like it. He was just so just so fun to watch. But the whole show is great. But every scene he's in, he absolutely steals. And you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. But it's kind of similar to Mindhunter in that like heavy atmosphere.
Yes. Oh,
You might
sweet.
like
I'm
that.
gonna write that down because you're right. Now that it's over, I'm like, my friends, my show. This was my
Yeah.
nightly thing. Like I felt like I was in it,
Yeah.
and now it's done. So
Wait, Mindhunter was canceled?
Yeah.
That makes me so sad. I didn't even know that. It was canceled?
I don't know if it was 1,000% canceled, but I think David Fincher, the creator, came out and said like he confirmed it will not be continuing with the third season. So
that's a bummer. Well, check out Blackbird, and then there's another one. There's so many things on the Unabomber, but there was one that I watched, I think, last year on Netflix that was actually really good too, and it had the same kind of tone and the pacing of Mindhunter, where they're following the case, and it's very psychological. I wish I could remember because there's so many different Unabomber things now.
Right.
But this one, I'll let you know if I find what the name was, because that one was really good too. It was a limited series, like a mini series.
Okay, sweet.
I would say it's not even just binging though, because you can watch a show for years and then when it's over, it kind of feels like people died and like
you lost
they're
a family
gone.
member.
Exactly.
Or you lost family, yeah.
And you just have these memories of them and rewatching the show basically. Like I'm gonna bring this in a bow, like wrap this up and bring it back to Star Wars. But
bring us back, Zach.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring us back to Star Wars eventually. But I had like an existential crisis when Better Call Saul ended because like that's it for the Breaking Bad universe. That's like they're all gone now. It's over.
I just finished that 2 weeks ago.
It was good, right?
I still so this is how bad I am. I haven't even finished it because I didn't want to finish it. So I'm at like I still have 2 episodes left because I was like I can't finish it, and I love it. It's not because I don't want to finish it because I can't.
And somebody mentioned Barry. Yeah, same thing with Barry. Like Barry's over now and it's sad, and Succession is over now and it's sad. And again, coming back to Star Wars, I felt this way when the Clone Wars ended. I sat there
oh my god, yeah,
in my room for like an hour just in the dumps, like, oh my god, like it's over. Like it's this whole phase of my life is kind of over now. And it
yeah, what's up, Maria? 100%. I remember Maria. I thought it was only 9 episodes, right? So I was surprised that there was a 10th one for Succession. Have you seen Succession, Kelly? Okay, that's something you definitely have to watch for sure.
Amazing.
I just remember watching it and then finishing it, and it ended, and then the credits rolled, and I'm like, oh wow, there's no more. It's all done. Yeah. It's all done and dusted. We're never gonna get to see these characters again. You know,
honestly, dude, I felt like Kendall in the very last scene.
Yeah,
that's how I felt.
Like you were there.
I was like looking out at the ocean, like, oh god.
I'm just like, what is there to watch now, right? And what world is there to get immersed in now? Like, what's going to be our Sunday movie? Like, I don't know. There is a new like Lily Rose Depp is in a new one.
The Idol with The Weeknd.
I'm curious if that's going to be really good or not. So we'll see. It's about like a pop star, right? Like kind of emblematic of like Britney in a way.
Yes, she is like a superstar up and coming, and I believe The Weeknd plays like a kind of cult leader-ish. I could be wrong, but I think he kind of sweeps
predatory manager maybe or something.
Yes, it's something like that. So we'll see. I like that point.
I sort of only feel that way when the ending is terrible and doesn't give me closure.
That's an interesting point.
I mean, I think, well, for example, the way me and Zach felt about Game of Thrones, I don't know. I don't remember we haven't talked about it in a while.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to hear any more about Game of Thrones.
Oh my god.
It's more of like we're just irritated and angry, not sad. Whereas we're sad if things end and there is good closure because it means it was a good show.
Yeah. Yes.
It was like it closed the chapter of a good book or end the last page, right? And you're like, wow.
Yeah.
That was good, but I feel sad now.
It's like when you lose someone due to like natural causes. Like, okay, they were old, they had a good life, they lived till they were like 90. But Game of Thrones was like you lost someone in a tragic accident and it just stunned you and horrified you. That's what Game of Thrones is like. So I do see what Alice is saying.
It's like your train ticket said you were going through fucking LA to San Francisco, and then you took the train to LA and you ended up in Utah, and you're like, how did that happen? and you're just so confused. You're like, there isn't even a track to Utah. Why are we here? And we were so confused about why Game of Thrones went the way it did. And still to this day, I almost forget that it even happened. I remember I watched the season 7 trailer the other day. I was like, wow, that was such a cool trailer. It showed nothing. And I know why it showed nothing, because it would have been a travesty for the audience to realize, oh my God, this is what we got. Anyway,
So
enough of that. We'll move on.
Thank you.
Now we got Zach fired up.
I heard a lot of backlash and negative reviews for the Idol. Saw a teaser, very sleazy and disgusting vibes from what I saw. Definitely not I'm not the target audience. Oh, yeah, it's like the Euphoria audience. So I liked Euphoria for, I don't know. I mean, I still to this day don't understand why I like that show so much.
I hate that show. That
I
show's
just
terrible.
love like that gritty, artsy, like drama, and the way they make it look all like glamorized, right? But it's kind of like a real in-depth look about what high school really is, instead of a Disneyfied version.
Okay.
That is not what high school is.
I didn't do that in high school.
Like high school.
I didn't do that, but you know people that did, right? And
yeah, the rich fucks who made the show, that's what they did.
It's still very prevalent. Like a lot of that shit is real. There is addiction that starts in high school.
Yeah,
right?
well, that's
true.
Sure, yeah.
And it's supposed to show like a true resemblance of what it's like to be in that age demographic, dealing with addiction, right? And all the issues with just growing up and coming of age and etc. Right? Look, over dramatized, yes, sure. But they just do it so well, and it's so artsy, and it's like it's a lot of stuff that people would be afraid to do, and a lot of stuff that people would be afraid to show, right? That makes it feel like you're there also, like if we want to talk about immersion in a lot of ways. But I have a feeling, the Idol's probably going to follow closely to that, only a more like older audience, right? A more grown up cast, supposedly. I mean, everyone in Euphoria is like 30, but they're teenagers, right? So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see it for ourselves to see what we think. Have you guys seen the movie 65 yet? Have you guys seen it?
Oh no.
I heard it wasn't very good, which is unfortunate because I really want more good dinosaur movies.
Yeah.
It's a dinosaur movie?
Yeah.
How's Adam Driver in it? Who is he, a dinosaur?
He's Kylo Ren.
No, yeah, so the premise is that 65 million years ago, it's kind of like a trippy premise. Like Adam Driver is like a pilot of a spaceship, and he's bringing people on a trip across the galaxy or whatever. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, but then they crash land on this like quote unquote deserted planet, and then it turns out there's dinosaurs there, and it's Earth or whatever 65 million years ago.
Oh my gosh, so it's like Planet of the Apes but with dinosaurs and Adam Driver instead.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah,
because time travel back.
Everyone loves Adam Driver, right? Let's just throw him in a dinosaur movie and see what happens.
Yeah.
I remember when I first saw the trailer, I thought the premise was it was an alien landing on Earth 65 million years ago, but the aliens look like us. So I thought he was like an alien who discovered Earth 65 million years ago, and he just obviously maybe didn't survive on there or something. Because it seemed like if you watch the first trailer, the text titles are a little misleading. You're not 100% sure that he's like time traveling or something.
No, right? He's not time traveling. I think you're right. It's just like humans are from somewhere else in the galaxy, and they
but I don't think that that's even it though. I think it's something else. So I guess I'll have to see for ourselves. But
Charlie Hep, should we address the elephant in the room?
Break the news.
So Opus is sunsetting its live streaming service, so we can no longer use it, which means emoji rain is gone. Everyone, we can't do emoji rain anymore. I'm sorry.
No more emojis raining from the sky. So Kelly, we used a different platform before this. This is actually our first time back on this platform in months.
This is our old platform.
We were using another platform which had a lot of really fun, cool features, and one of the awesome features was emoji rain. So when the chat would type in, "Oh, hey, kitty," when I almost said cat. When chat would type in emojis would fall from the top, and it was like a really fun.
Oh, that's so
thing.
cool.
They called emoji rain. But now we're back on StreamYard, and they don't have that feature. So yeah, that's where we're at. But I will say, I was talking to Zach Maria, and I really want to unrelated. I really want to try to set all of this up through OBS and do what you did with the After the Sequels project live stream, because that was so clean and there
so
was a lot
good.
more customized options. Like, we're not stuck on this size screen, right? We could do all sorts of cool things. That's what I want to
We
hopefully be
pledge
able to do.
ourselves
I
to your teachings.
to your teachings. So sorry, Charlie. Sorry to drop it to you that way.
Yeah, sorry you guys had
Aw.
to find out like this.
Mm.
That's too bad. Man, they should make emoji rain for StreamYard. Why not?
It was so much fun. It was just
It
a
was-
great. I'm not a huge like AI. I'm still an AI denier, even though it is upon us. But there were great AI elements of
Aw.
Opus that I loved that made the stream super interactive and whatnot. And
And it was
Sounds
free,
like
so it was fun.
So what happened to Opus? They're just closing, or
They designed a different product it's called Opus Clip, and it's literally just like you put in a podcast and the AI automatically detects who's talking and it cuts it into shorts.
Oh.
So it like repurposes the content without you having to do any editing, but it really isn't where it needs to be yet, and we couldn't use any
Yeah.
of the ones that we tried to do.
Oh.
So they're using that as like their primary product for their company, and they just are sunsetting the live stream, I guess, because it was either too expensive, bandwidth was
Aw.
hard, or handling the platform or whatever. But I mean, they reached out to us and they sponsored us to use it for a while, and we were super excited because we're
Wow.
like, oh, we can finally use a platform that has cool features. We don't have to pay out of the butt for you know, a streaming platform, and now we're back here again for now until we figure it out. But yeah, it's sad. This platform is still good, but it's very basic, and there's not a whole lot that we could do, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there'll be another one around the corner. That sounds really cool to be able to implement AI to actually help with things like that. I was always thinking, well, not always. Recently, after ChatGPT came out
You're
and all
just
these
always
other
thinking
things,
that.
not always. Recently, like within the last year, I've been like, well, because I've started editing my own videos, but I find it really challenging because I'm not an editor. I'm not a natural editor. I've had to teach myself everything from scratch. I'm like, what if they could create just a preliminary program that just helped cut out all the awkward silences or all the filler words, or because I use a lot of filler words when I talk. I just use them. I said, But if you could cut out all the likes and and all that kind of stuff, just a very basic level, just to help people cut down some time in editing. But then I'm sure that would start replacing a lot of other things.
It exists already.
Does it
Yeah.
really? What is
Yeah.
it?
Isn't it a plugin or something?
Yeah,
Or is
it's
it-
like Pod Pro or something. It's mostly for podcasts right now. It's not as advanced as
Oh.
identifying like keywords to remove.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a podcast, right, and you have a multicam sequence, right, you're in the same
Yeah.
room and you're cutting back and forth, right?
Mhm.
It's able to know who's talking, cut back and forth for you, and remove any
Wow.
silences in between just by clicking a button.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's only going to keep getting better too with it. But from a creativity standpoint, for like feature films, there's no way Christopher Nolan is just going to throw in, hundreds of hours of footage for his new film, and it's just going to create a masterpiece.
Yeah. No, and I would never think that it would.
Right.
Obviously. And Alyssa A asked what my cat's name, and this is Nova.
That's a sick name.
Yeah, she's
I
my
like
little-
Yeah, they do that. There's right now the biggest feature that I love on Premiere is transcribing everything.
Oh.
So all your clips are transcribed. So if, for example, you remember during a 2-hour podcast of someone saying something about cats, you can type in cats and it'll pop right to the point in the timeline where it said cats, right? So that's just something that saved me so
Wow.
much time on so many things.
That's
and
awesome.
Except
it's
on this
great.
podcast where we have someone named Cat. That would be very
Yeah.
confusing.
True, actually. Good point. We got to
If we
talk
had
about
a
dogs.
podcast about cats and Cat was
Hosted
featured
by
on it,
Cat.
it's so hard to find specific mentions about cats for sure.
Yeah, that might be a bit of a headache.
What up, Shane?
Hi, Shane. Good to see you, Shane.
Shane, you better say hi to Alex and I.
Yeah, he only likes cat. I mean, I don't blame you. I would hate you too, but
Let's be real here.
it's all about Cat and Kelly. We understand. We know how this works. Someone else popped in a little while ago. I didn't say hi.
And you. Says
Oh, no.
Thanks, Shane.
It's all about the ladies. Yes, it is. I know someone used ChatGPT for the uni essays, and there's a loophole because they didn't realize people were going to use it. Yeah, I mean, now there's like software and a lot of steps being taken for people to identify if it's like multi-purpose from ChatGPT or something like that. I don't know how they're going to do that or how they're going to enforce that, but yeah,
Wow.
it's only making. I mean, I feel like writing essays in high school and college were so easy in my generation. I can only imagine how much easier it's going to get for everyone else, right? They don't really have to go to the library and pull and get a book and like read the content and then form arguments and be good at writing because everything does it for them now.
Back in our day, we only had the internet.
Back in our day, we didn't have Grammarly yet, right? Or did we? I don't even know. No, it wasn't a thing. So we had to proofread and make sure everything was good. I was good at English though. I liked writing, but now I probably suck. I'm probably awful because I just rely on
Serena.
AI.
Thank you.
Hello, Zach and Alex. Only you two there. The balance is restored.
She is the chosen one.
Anyway, okay, we'll get into Star Wars now.
Only 40 minutes in.
We'll go back. Do I have the tab open? Oh,
I missed the docket, dude. That's another thing.
I know. We got to say docket. Now it's just like pops up and.
Never would have guessed that word would become a regular part of my daily vocabulary, but
yeah,
it's a great word.
I was like, so what is it? Oh, we're on the left side now. Has that always been a thing? Weren't we on the right?
I think on before? Opus we were on the right.
But do you remember on StreamYard if we were on the left or not?
I don't remember.
Okay. Is it still black for you or do you see it?
I don't see anything.
Nothing's
I see a brick wall.
She's a brick. Wow. I always want to sing so badly, like when I'm on stream, but I'm like, will this get me copyright?
Copyright. You sounded too good.
Is Alex frozen?
He is.
It's hard to tell sometimes because a lot of times he'll stay very still, and Kat and I will be like, "Oh, he's frozen," and he's like, "No, I'm not. What are you talking about?"
Oh no! Good call, Kelly. Good call.
Okay, yeah. Alex is gone.
His hand was being too not shaking enough.
At first, I was like, "Is he listening really intently?"
And we're back. You good, bro?
I'm gonna share a screen, and then my computer just says nope. Does it not work?
This is why we need Opus. Alex Daniel.
Why isn't it working? Maybe.
I mean, so it's basically the gist of it is that Lars Mikkelsen said that he wasn't gonna. Oh, he's gone again.
No!
Oh my god!
What keeps happening here? I have the article on Twitter.
You lead us through it.
But yes, as I wouldn't necessarily. I don't know if it's drama because it's an actor making his own creative decision about his character, so he can do whatever the flip he wants. If you ask me. But trending on Twitter currently in regards to the upcoming Ahsoka show, for those of us who are rewatching Rebels and whatnot, Lars Mikkelsen explained that he avoided rewatching Rebels to prep going into his live action rendition.
Did he say why, or did he just say he didn't elaborate?
There is elaboration. Let me find it.
It says, I wanted to detach myself from that to create something new. I'll just go to the full article and see what he says. Before being officially announced for the series, the Danish actor played quite coy about his Ahsoka role. However, the Ghost crew reassembling Lucasfilm came calling for its iconic Rebels villain. Let's see what he says. The Thrawn star noted, no, he didn't. He actually actively detached himself from any past performance.
I thought you just called it Thrawnster. You said Thrawn
The Thrawn Star.
I was
That's
like,
what
what's a
that's how it's
Thrawn
written.
Star?
What if in the show he's
main-
like, "You will call me Thronster
The
now."
main man,
And he just
Thronster.
goes he just goes by Thronster for the entire Ahsoka show.
You shall call me Thronster. Yeah, I mean, interesting. So his name is
Where Grand
Thronster.
Admiral Thronster.
Is anything we get out of this article? It's that he changed his name for the live action role, which is very interesting. So he's going to be a completely different character. He's going to have a red face instead of a blue face.
He's gonna wear
Thronster.
sunglasses. No, it's the same. He just wears sunglasses. The
Oh.
whole time.
Like he just has Ray-Bans in a galaxy far, far away.
We need merch with just a picture of Thrawn with his arms crossed and wearing sunglasses
And
It just
wearing
says
Ray-Bans.
Thronster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says Thronster.
The Thronster. Oh God. Yes, but he was 100% talking about the novels. Yeah. Yes, and Timothy Zahn is on it. Consulting. Yeah, he is a
Nice.
part of it from what I hear.
Hey, that's nice. Is that
Like-
their first time consulting like a novelist for the new stuff?
I don't know.
Because I don't remember ever hearing that they were always making a new thing, a whole new thing.
I don't know if they did it on Rebels because I remember they released
Well, I'm
Thrawn
thinking
books.
the recent new stuff, not Rebel. Like I feel like Rebels and
Okay.
Clone Wars were older now.
Because Dave literally said, we've talked to, like at Celebration, he literally said, like, we have talked to Timothy. It only makes sense to talk to Timothy or whatever. I don't know if he's like actively consulting on it, but they have had a chat about it. So I don't, whatever that means. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Well, once more news gets released, but it's very interesting. Nope. In reference to
Just anything, everything in
Authors
general.
formerly.
oh no,
being
we know it's not based on past works, but it's still his character in a lot of ways, right? So
Mm.
what Star Wars edited on Windows XP?
Yeah, it's back in 1977.
Yeah, because Windows XP was definitely a thing. Then.
I can't
They had
believe they edited those movies like actual film. That as like I edited actual film in college for a class. It's not fun. It's not fun.
Oh,
I
dude,
don't
it
enjoy
sucks.
it.
It sucks. I'm
You
doing
have to
one right
actually
now.
cut, right? You have to
Yeah,
like,
and
cut
then you have to like
paste.
splice it together with this mechanism. It's
Wow.
terrible.
It was what class was that?
Archival footage. So we basically
Yeah,
yeah,
I
they
almost
gave
took
us.
it too.
It was fun, but I mean, the film editing part actually sucked.
Mm.
Yeah, I think do you remember Carlos Zach from SFSU? Carlos
do
Sanchez,
not.
like okay, well he was like a big proprietor for cinematography, and he's really good at what he does, and he even hated that class. So yeah.
Shout out Carlos.
Thrawn is one of the first to have a book series part of the development, so there just hasn't been a chance to bring in authors before. Interesting.
Sulfur Squirrel. I like the name.
Dude, what a name. Will they
Like
ever make an
the alliteration.
This has been a topic of discussion, I think, for I don't know if it's just because we talk about it every week when we were doing it, or that it's just been a hot topic lately, but this has been talked about forever now, like why they won't do it, the caveats to doing it, the expenses to doing it, like why haven't they, and I think the biggest discussion around that is it's a lot of action. There's going to be a lot of special effects. It's going to be very expensive to make it look good, right? And the only things we have right now are the games and the cinematics. And to bring those cinematics, to bring that level of quality of cinematic to like an actual film or even a show, right, would be way too expensive for the return. So that's my only logical conclusion as to why they haven't touched that yet, even though they are creating a film prior to that era, like the beginning of
The first
of
Jedi.
the Force. Yeah, the first Jedi. So they're going into that era, which could probably build into the Old Republic. That's probably what they're going to try to do with it. But I mean, the Old Republic is just going to be a massive undertaking, and I don't blame them for not doing it just yet, because it's just if they don't bring it justice, they're screwed, right?
Yeah, I feel like in theory, the Old Republic, like a movie about the Old Republic, would be the safest thing they could do because it's it's got elements of like every aspect of Star Wars that people enjoy. Like it's got elements from the original trilogy, it's got elements of the prequel trilogy, and like X-Wing said on our live stream with Maria, it kind of kicks everything up to like 11. Like everything is escalated in the Old Republic. And the problem is if they screwed it up, they would never live it down. So they really have to get it right.
Yeah, that's honestly as one of the most widely anticipated / requested / talked about, eras that the fandom wants to see content from. It almost I would be so nervous because you're so right. It would have to be handled so well and executed to a T. Otherwise, I think it's the most vulnerable to being eviscerated because it is one of the most highly in demand eras in the fandom. So frankly, I don't blame them for having avoided it this far because
I think they want to make some of their money back before they invest in something like that. Right. And yes, we haven't seen Pablo Hidalgo for ages. Where has he been? He's not in the chat anymore. Like what is happening?
Well, I mean, the Star Cruiser's ending, so he's out of a job on that
he's
front.
out of a job. We should talk about that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I forgot that happened. All right, you're familiar, Kelly, obviously, right?
I just heard it. So that was the hotel, right? The Star Wars themed hotel that I would have, if you had told me that there was a Star Wars themed hotel when I was a child, I would have done anything in my power to have gotten there. And now I just couldn't care at all. It's just sad.
And then you realize that it looks like Star Trek and you're living in a prison for 2 days for $5,000.
Also, it's like $5,000.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. It's like out of everyone's price range, and if you are that big of a Star Wars fan, right? Like I don't know, you would want to be immersed in the world that already exists, not something that's recreated for the sake of.
Yes.
And like literally the only logical explanation I can think of is an IP somewhere in like when they bought it, like they couldn't do something with like existing characters in a Star. Like I don't know why they wanted to create everything original in that sense, and have only like the characters that they created once they bought it in a Star Wars themed hotel, and nothing from what created the entire fan base for like decades, right? Like I don't understand why they kind of went that route. Galaxy's Edge is another example. Like it looks beautiful, right? Like it's very immersive, and it's really cool to walk under a bridge and kind of see all of it. But it's not Mos Eisley. It's not there's no park that goes into some cool like Coruscant land with architecture. It stays in one outpost that exists solely in the sequel trilogy and nowhere else. So it's very, very interesting that they decided to do that.
I think really cool idea. But I would have rather been able to eat in the cantina on Mos Eisley and then walk over to, I don't know, like Mustafar or Coruscant or Naboo or Bespin. I feel like
lava sticks, right? You just lava sticks or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah.
I
think they sell cigarettes. Yeah. Like just I'm just kidding. But it would just like something that like feels like you're there. I don't know. And I think a cool thing for the Star Cruiser Hotel, if you're gonna spend $5,000, is for them to have like a dress code. Because in the imprints for the concept art, it showed everyone dressed up as like a certain race or a certain class. Sorry, not race, certain class. So you're like either a smuggler, a Jedi, or whatever, right? And you can go in and you're immersed from that, because no one's wearing, Disney t-shirts. They're wearing their cosplay, or they're wearing like a gown that, if at that point they should provide you whatever you choose for $5,000.
Yeah, I want to be a tauntaun for $5,000. Make me a living tauntaun.
Yeah, and then you just go in, you and Joe, like Joe's the tauntaun, and you're just on top of that'd be like the coolest thing.
And I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Like there's just so many things just normal fans could come up with, right? Without even really like spending, like they do it for free. They would draft up this stuff for free because they're passionate, and they paid a bunch of like Imagineers to create this, right? And it couldn't have been further from what everyone wanted, and it showed. Like they had to close. Like I think is it less than a year or a little over a year?
September. I'll be completely honest. As soon as I saw the announcement that they were shutting down operations there and it was totally going to be scrapped, I actually like looked up. I was like, when is it closing? Like, how much longer do I have? Because despite everything and despite the criticisms, like I did have aspirations to go, even though it is exorbitant amounts of money. But I literally actually was like, okay, how much longer do we have? I am anticipated that it would be a year, right? Like, no, it's literally they're not taking reservations after this September. So it is like literally like hashtag done. I was so salty. I was like,
take your honeymoon there, Kat.
I was thinking about I
Do it.
really was thinking
Do it.
about it. I was like, maybe we'll do a little
immersive adventure
trip.
Yeah.
But the one thing I was like something that would have freaked me out, which I was reading like in the article that I read that broke the news, it was sharing reviews from different guests who had very opposing experiences when they were there. Like some people saying it did feel cramped, like if you're in the bunk beds, feel like this weird claustrophobia because there are no windows. Like that would definitely like freak me out. But then some people saying like, no, it was so immersive. I actually cried. Like I felt like I was in Star Wars. It was incredible. So I definitely.
And I do love hearing that, right? Like it's not like I only want to spew hatred and all that. Like if someone had a great time, I'd love to hear about it. But everything that we've seen when we had, I don't know if you were on, Kelly, when we did it. You might have been there when we did it, when we were like looking at all like the TikTokers and all the cringe stuff happening.
I never saw it.
I don't know who it was that we had on that day, but and then the rock, that was where the whole rock cleaning thing came into play. Was during that time.
Oh my god, that's right, the rock garden.
Yeah, and it was, we were just clowning on it because we're like, dude, what is this, right? Like there's all this space, why didn't they make this something cooler than just stacking rocks, right? Like it was so bizarre, and we were just it was just like the whole podcast covered Star Cruiser because we're like, this is so tone deaf and far from what we would imagine a Star Wars hotel would be, right? And
it was unfortunately just so inaccessible. That price
at a $4,000 price point, and I think the lowest was like $3,000.
Crazy. Oh, that's so unfair.
2 nights.
Wow.
Nights. Yeah, it's not even like a week or 2 weeks or a month.
Do you get food? Do you get like blue milk?
It's not included. You have to pay for it.
And there's a 2-drink minimum, right? Isn't it? Maximum.
That's
max,
right?
2 alcoholic drink maximum, but everything else you can.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really sad.
It's too Disney-fied.
It's just such a shame because it could have been such a great, like, if it had been better received and more successful, like it could have launched the whole new dawn of like, I love the idea of like a thematic live-in experience vacation, like Star Wars especially. Like I would go to a Lord of the Rings theme.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah. Go to New Zealand.
Right.
Yeah,
go to New Zealand. Yeah.
It's a real place, Kat.
I want to stay in Rivendell so bad. I want to go to Rivendell.
We'll take an Evil Ewok podcast trip. We're live from Rivendell.
Oh, that'd be so sick, dude.
It would be amazing.
That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun.
Oh man, I begged my mom in early high school. We had like a little hill in our backyard, and I begged her. I was like, I will dig the hole myself. Can I please make a hobbit hole in the backyard?
That is amazing.
She vehemently refused, but I really wanted to dig a hobbit hole in the backyard. But I didn't understand that it probably would have collapsed on me. And
oh my god!
Like, welcome to Hobbiton, and they're just like, get out of here, leave.
That lived-in immersive experience would be so valuable. I feel like that's something that's missing right now because it's so. I don't know. It capitalizes on people's nostalgia, but then you feel like a sardine when you go to these kinds of places. I love the idea.
Used almost.
Yeah, exactly. And the amount of money. But there is, I think in Tunisia, they still have the Skywalker homestead.
You can still do that. Yeah,
you can still go there.
So there's
and
still
I think
that,
it's a
but
reasonable price.
You have to go all the way to Tunisia first.
I would go to Tunisia. Hey, you could hit Tunisia. You could go to Egypt. You could go see all the sites. Why not?
That's definitely on the list to go for sure.
Yeah.
What were we were talking about? Oh, I was going to say something. One thing I will say about the immersion experience, and I think the Hogwarts place in Universal did it really, really well because not only were they willing to take the hit on the IP standpoint and have J.K. Rowling consult and have like final say in pretty much everything, but it was a massive hit, and they were beating Disney at their own game for like a long time, right?
Yeah.
Because of that. And Disney still didn't learn from that. And then they released the Star Cruiser right after. And I it's still to this day, it's like, why don't you just have the original creators involved more? Like, why can't Disney just do that? I don't understand. And I know Maria made an argument in here about IP royalties and having to pay out from original characters because it's in the agreement somewhere, right? And that's probably makes sense. But it's like, just take the hit short term, right? Take the hit short term. You'll gain like a massive following as we progress, right? Like it's like it's gonna be massive. It's Star Wars. It can't fail if you do it the right way. So anyway, yeah. And I wanted to respond to this question. It was somewhere up here.
The Old Republic one.
No. After that, they were talking this. What does this mean? We should do like just us, like what? Like, because we're not celebration creators or anything. Like, we don't host events, but
I wish. I think
I've
they're
never been in
suggesting
Nashville.
like we should go. I know. I want to like. That would be cool.
Nashville, Tennessee. I would go if they had a celebration there. I guess the next one's gonna be in Japan in 2 years.
Yeah,
We
we
have
haven't
to
talked.
go. We have to go
Right?
somehow. Like,
I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going for sure. We're
Yeah?
going. Yeah, we're going for sure. We already bought yen because the yen to the dollar is really it's like the value is insane right now. So if you buy like $1,000, that might last us our entire trip. $1,000 US
Oh
dollars
my
to yen. So we
frick.
bought it now, and then we gotta have it. We're gonna have it for the trip. So hopefully,
That's
you know,
smart.
yeah.
Oh my god! So you are without, because Tom and I are thinking about it, because after this one was announced that it was in London, we were like, all right, no matter what, we are going to the next one, and especially as it became we became aware, like, oh, in 2025 it's going to be a big anniversary for Revenge of the Sith. Is
Yeah.
it going to be like 20
Yes.
years or something like that?
Yeah.
So we were like, no
Wow.
matter what, we are effing going, because they're probably going to ball out for that. And we were like, this is it, we're going. And
Bigger
then they
venue too than
announced
London. Yeah.
Japan, and we were like, are we still going? So this might help. If I know y'all are going, then let's make a trip out of it. You know what I'm saying?
I say we, but we all know it was Amanda who did a lot of this research. The only massively expensive part about the whole trip is the flight. Everything else is insanely cheap in comparison to Europe or America. Hotels are far cheaper. You can stay at a 5-star hotel for like $150 right a night. Yeah, like you don't even have to stay at a 5-star. You can stay at like something not as nice and just live. And then food's way cheaper because it's the yen, right? So like in general, it's way cheap to be there for a long time in comparison to America. The only downside is the flights are just insanely expensive for some reason, and I don't really know why. We were looking at like premium economy, right? It was like $6,000 a piece.
Oh my god!
Holy
Like it's
crap.
like okay,
Maybe
so
I
guess,
won't be going then.
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So standard economy, I don't even know what it is, but it's basically like you got to find a deal and grab it as fast as you can because Japanese flights are brutal, but everything else after that is fine.
This is still like 2 years out. Like, it's not even like you're trying to go like next week. It's like still 2 years away. My gosh.
Yeah. But at least we have a little over a year and a half or 2 years to plan it, or a little over a year to plan it still. Like, it's not next year. Or sorry, it's not. Wait, yeah, it's not next.
Wait, it's
2025.
Nonstop to Los Angeles from $626 one way. That's not terrible.
Yeah, is that standard?
Probably, yeah. But...
yeah, standard economy. It's out of LA, so you just gotta. Oh, you're up there. Yeah, out of San Diego, it's so expensive. LA is much cheaper, so you're actually good for that. You LA people. Down here, we got to take the.
Just drive up here
coaster.
and fly out of LAX.
LA people,
true.
fist bumps in the.
But then we gotta drive. Then you gotta drive 3 hours there, or an hour and a half, or 2 hours there, and then you gotta get on a 14-hour flight or however long it is.
Yeah,
right?
what's 2 hours more, Alex?
Do you really want to drive 2 more hours after a 14-hour flight? It's
That's a
brutal.
long flight. It is long. Going to anywhere in Asia is super long, and it feels longer when you're on a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming back from Heathrow is brutal, and this is even longer. So I really don't want
another
to drive.
like 3 hours.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about having to drive. I'd rather be like, oh, I'm in San Diego. We're 40 minutes away.
I'm home.
Yeah. Oh man.
Has it been confirmed what city it is in?
Oh, fuck. She
Is it
knows.
not Tokyo?
I
She
have
knows.
no
I don't
idea.
think it's in Tokyo. I think it's actually somewhere else. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
Did you know Tokyo is the most populated city on the planet?
I
Really?
believe it.
Yeah,
Really?
it's
Wow.
huge.
Oh, I typed in Disney celebration. I should be stoned to
14
death.
million people live in Tokyo.
Holy
Whoa.
crap! Wow.
At the Mukahari Messi.
Oh,
Okay,
so
let me
they already
see.
have the venue?
Let me see where this is.
Also, I just want to acknowledge how pure Serena's message is. I'm going to go read to my dad. Maybe see you later. How sweet! Go
Oh,
read to your dad. That's so
that's really
wholesome.
beautiful.
Yeah, you do that, Serena. We completely understand. I would, yeah, 100%.
That's the nicest possible reason to leave a stream.
Yeah.
That is so cute.
it's
Aw.
to the east of Tokyo near Chiba.
I'll just admit right now, my geography is not good.
I'm
That
just
just
looking at a
means
map right
yes,
now.
Chiba.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're like, oh yeah.
I
That's
don't
I
know if I'm
great.
saying
frequent-
that right.
It's a good ramen spot for
Yeah.
sure.
Great neighborhood.
The venue is like outskirts Tokyo near Chiba, so that's interesting.
They have the best schools in Chiba.
They have the best Shiba Inus in Shiba. Great dogs.
Oh, and Disney Tokyo. Yes, we're going to Disney Tokyo too. We have to.
Oh, cool.
Don't worry about France Tokyo. I mean, I'm so over it. Don't worry about the French Disneyland or Disney World because it's not great. The Anaheim one's better still, and then Disney World's better also. Just the castle's really pretty. That's it. So yeah, Mukahari Messi. Yeah, outskirts of Tokyo near Chiba.
Well, maybe y'all. We got over a year to
We
start
can
saving.
do it. We can do it.
France Tokyo, dude. I had a long day. Okay, I've had a
The
long day.
France, Tokyo, Thronster.
I
You're
woke
on a
up at-
roll tonight.
I woke up at 4 today, so I'm really on
Sheesh.
overtime.
Okay, Mr. Adult waking up before the sun.
I just needed to have a productive day today. I was so unproductive yesterday.
Dang.
Animal Kingdom and Epcot alone make it worth it.
I love Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Is Disney World Florida?
Yeah.
Yes.
Disneyland is here. Okay. Yes, because I'm salty because there's no Epcot at Disneyland.
You're like at Disneyland. Oh, where's Epcot? Hello? Who do I talk to? Like Epcot. What are you talking about? It's like, yeah, it says it right here. It's like that's in Florida. Oh.
Could you imagine? I'm sure that has happened, like to many a
Oh.
poor soul.
I would be so disappointed.
Yeah.
Wow, because that's the one thing I always wanted to see was Epcot. I've never been to Disneyland or Disney World other than the time I went with you and Amanda and Joe, Alex. That one time, that was the closest I ever got. But I don't like crowds in theme parks, so I'm okay.
Yeah,
I
it was.
miss out on my
Was it that
childhood.
crowded that day? I don't remember.
No,
It was
it was
pretty
fine.
chill that
And we
day,
stayed on
right?
the
Yeah.
outskirts anyway.
Yeah,
I'd
we
be so
were in
disappointed.
downtown Disney, and
Yeah.
it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice, but I would be so sad if I went thinking I was going to see Epcot because that's
Oh, God.
You're like, where is it?
it's so
Hello.
big. I did the Harry Potter world in Universal. That was cool.
I still have to go.
How would you?
That
Have you
was
been to
really cool.
Galaxies? You have? Oh no, you haven't. Sorry. You
No, I
said
just
you
went to
haven't.
that outpost thing. Just the time when we went and I saw the
Yeah,
outpost.
you
and,
saw the outpost
the
and you
gift
saw,
shop,
like,
and it
the
was really
Death
well
Disney.
put together. Like you said, it's really nicely put together, and they get the vibe down. But it's just sad
But
that it
felt-
has.
It did feel stale though, right? There was
Yeah,
something
there's-
missing. Yeah.
Yes, there's no soul. There's no.
Yeah.
There's no real connection. It has the Star Wars aesthetic, but it doesn't have the Star Wars soul.
Like it looks like an M&M, right? And
Yeah.
it has that sheen, right? And then you bite into it, and there's no chocolate in there at all. It's just kind of like
Yeah,
the shell, right? And you're
It's
just like,
disturbing.
oh, that's so sad.
It would
Yeah,
be
just
like if
sad.
there was a Lord of the Rings world and they it was just some place that you never saw in the movies. It's like, oh,
It'd be like if it was the Lord of the Rings from the cartoon they did in like the
Yeah.
70s, where you couldn't even see anything.
everybody's
this
all
is-
rotoscoped over the.
Yeah. Yeah, like, oh, it's not.
Like this is
Why
if
is
Lord of the Rings was
Aragorn
in-
wearing
yeah.
a skirt with nothing under?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I
Kelly
honestly
seems
loved those
Gryffindor.
movies when I was a kid.
Ah.
I loved the animated ones when I was younger.
I'm
The
actually
animated
Ravenclaw.
The
I want to be
Hobbit.
Me
Gryffindor.
too. Me too.
You're Ravenclaw?
Yeah,
Yeah, I really want to be Gryffindor, but I'm Ravenclaw.
because they're like the other ones that no one really talks about, but they do that for a reason, right? They're too busy in their own vibe,
We're studying. We're introverts.
just
Yeah,
chilling.
which
Yeah.
is true. People always think I'm extroverted when I'm with people because I will talk with people, but then when I'm on my own, I'm like, on my own. I'm out.
I'm pretty introverted too. Like I may
Mm.
seem like I do like, and in general I like face to face way more than virtual, right? Virtual doing this podcast in the beginning, I was always so nervous about it and so like anxious, and it just didn't. It took a while to get used to, and I still to this day I would prefer to hang out with all of you guys in person, right? Don't get me wrong. But this is it's great that we have this tech to be able to communicate and chat and have.
That's so true.
have a Star
That's
Wars
so
discussion.
relatable because I'm the same way where I like face-to-face meetings and hangouts, but I'm still not used to streaming. Like I'm nervous now. I'm nervous every time I've ever tried to stream on my own channel. Doesn't matter how many times I do it. I'm like, this is so strange.
Like, don't get me wrong, I
So
still
weird.
hate Zoom, right? I will always
Yeah.
hate Zoom. I'll always
Yeah.
hate those meetings. But when it comes to like a podcast, right? For example, in this, ideally, I would love to have us all in one room and we just chat, right? But if this is the next best thing, then so be it, right? It's okay. It still works.
We need the evil Ewok studio to happen someday.
Yeah, 100% in New Zealand, so we can walk outside
Yes.
and be in Rivendell. Live
Kelly
from
can
Evil Ewok
finally
Podcast.
have her hobbit hole.
Yes.
It's just a little hobbit hole off in the corner. It's like, oh yeah, that's where Kelly lives. They're like, are you guys serious? It's like, yeah.
She streams from the hole. The rest of us are in.
Well, with a name like Sulfur Squirrel, I wouldn't expect any less.
Yes, sulfur squirrel. Yes.
Give
Staying
in to
in
your
character.
hatred.
Kat, what
Fun
are
and
you? Are you Ravenclaw too?
I'm a Hufflepuff.
Oh yeah, I see
I
that.
love Hufflepuffs. Oh my god.
You loser.
Hufflepuffs are the best. They're so adorable. I love Hufflepuffs.
I
The
was
best.
admittedly a little defeated when I got that result because I believe Tom is a Ravenclaw, but then I was a little bit reassured when I remembered that like Tonks, we got Cedric Diggory, like
Yeah.
we got some good names. So
Hufflepuffs are
I'll
rad.
take
There are
it.
people who see the good in everything. That's definitely what you are.
Right.
Yeah. Who do you think? Which house do you think is the like has the most like? What do you think that most people end up in?
I bet most
Gryffindor.
people tailor their answers to be Griffin.
Based off of
Yeah.
how many drugs they do, they probably veer more towards. I feel like Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff are more of the everyday humanity, whereas Slytherin and Gryffindor are more like situations for a lot of people. Like some days they feel heroic, some days they want to kill everyone. I don't know. It's like I
Choose
just
your
feel like
day.
I feel like Hufflepuffs and Ravenclaws are more like the broad general populace. For at least from my perspective, right? Like that could be so far off. I'm not a huge Harry Potter person, but from just what I see in everyone in like the movies and everything that all the quizzes that you do, all that shit, right? It always seems to steer towards Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff are like the normal people who live life and react to life accordingly, and just kind of they're there. And then Gryffindor are like the over the top, idealized versions of yourself, right? That you always want to aspire to be, but you generally aren't. And then Slytherin is like when you're down in the dumps and everything sucks and you just hate everyone, right?
What are you saying, Alex?
Well,
I
then
will
there are
say-
it's not an all broad statement, but there are the cases where sure, it's like you identify as like the Slytherin type of personality.
I
right?
will say, as a proud Slytherin, it's always kind of amused me when you see like, oh, you're a Gryffindor. That means that you're courageous and brave, and and you're very loyal to your friends. It's like, oh, you're a Ravenclaw. That means you're really clever and smart and studious. And oh, you're a Hufflepuff. You like
you
get
do
along
bong
with
loads.
everyone, and you're fun and you're loyal and whatever. And then it's like, oh, you're a Slytherin. Yeah, you're basically a piece of shit.
Why don't they just expel you, dude? Why are you here?
Yeah, it's like you're basically a white supremacist, but magical.
Yeah.
Except you got Snape, I guess. That's cool, but yeah.
It's funny how we've kind of veered into almost every
Everything.
franchise right now.
Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings,
Star Wars news is all sad right now, so we have to like talk about other
We're
things.
in the calm before the Ahsoka storm. It's gonna be amazing. I did see. No, I feel like people say this about every Star Wars show so far, but I believe there were some reviews coming out from the critics who were able to pre-screen the series, and allegedly they are saying that it is one of their favorite latest Star Wars, one of the best recent Star Wars productions. Take that with a fat grain of salt, because again, I saw that on Twitter where nothing can be entirely trusted.
A fat grain of salt that doesn't come out of the shaker.
Yeah,
just do that.
Stuck in there.
You're just like really trying to get it out. You just need a pinch of salt to finish your meal, and it just doesn't come out, and you're just livid. Everything sucks. Just
it's one of those big sea salt chunks, big sea salt. But yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I'm excited.
We should get another trailer soon, right? At least.
Yeah. Do you think they'll say it for like July? Because it's probably going to come out late August, right? Do we know an official date?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, Kat.
It's been a long time since I've heard that line.
Yeah. Basically, anytime Kat asks a question, we just sit there, and then Zach just says, "Don't worry about it, Kat." So we never answer any of her questions.
Yeah,
so she's just sitting there, just all this hatred. But she's a Hufflepuff, so she doesn't remember. She doesn't have hatred for anyone. She only sees the good in us, no matter how awful we are.
Kat, do you know what I haven't watched yet? Still,
Visions. Okay, neither have I. Neither have I.
It's so good. It's great.
It is the second season.
Season 2 is great. It's so much better than the first season.
What is it? I've never even heard of this.
It's like each episode is like a different story from a different studio. And they do their own like artistic vision of Star Wars story. Like it's a unique take on Star Wars from different animation studios. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Where do I watch this?
Disney Plus.
Oh, I don't have Disney Plus.
Yeah, I will say they're phenomenal. Yeah, so yes, I have not yet seen season 2, but I'm glad to hear that it's actually you think it's even better. Because I thought season 1 was amazing.
There's 3 or 4 of them that are really good. Everything else is kind of, but like there's 3 or 4 that me and Amanda really enjoyed.
Nice.
There's a lot of really dark underlying themes, and the music is really good in some of them, and a lot of concept art was used for certain characters, and like the inspiration's there. You can tell the fandom is definitely kicking it with Star Wars content. So definitely.
Nice, because I was debating. I didn't watch it because I was like, "Ooh, should I react to this season?" And now I just still haven't. I kind of want to just scrap the reactions and just watch all of it, but now I'm tempted to react to some of them, hearing how good it is. So.
I can tell you which ones we thought were great, and maybe you can just gauge it that way.
Oh, okay.
Because we obviously all agree with each other here. We never have any contradicting statements. We need to bring someone on who just hates it, so we can have like a nice debate.
True.
Well, I can't disagree because I haven't watched any of it.
True. Yeah. We only have your barometer here.
Okay,
Alex.
I won't say anything, and then I'll let you watch them without my opinion fluctuating your viewing experience. And you can let me know what you think from your perspective and which episodes were good, and then I'll just tell you you're wrong. How's that?
By the way, Zach just showed up. What's up, Zach?
Your alter ego, Zach.
Zach.
Anyway, I think that's a good closer. We kind of went a little bit over this time, but we were just catching up.
We had a lot of fun.
We owed them 4 streams, so
that's true. It has been a while, and I have been gone for most of it too. So I shouldn't be the one that's ending it. But I know I want to be respectful of Kelly's time.
Yeah, Kelly, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for coming on, Kelly.
I love this.
I want to have like just a soul like around October. Like we should just have a soul horror dedicated stream because I would love to talk so much more about it with
my gosh, yes, that sounds amazing.
Fun.
Let's
That
please
would be
plan
so
on
much
that.
fun.
Actually, that would be great. I would
That
love
would be
that.
so much fun.
Everyone go
should-
subscribe
Oh,
to Kelly.
we should go to the like filming locations.
I know.
Oh.
Now that I
Filming
know they're
location
right
day.
here, I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta
If I have
plot out.
time when I come up
Yeah.
this month, maybe we can do it. If not, we can just meet later.
Yeah, that would
All
be
of us. We
amazing.
can.
I mean, once you get there, they are kind of underwhelming. It's not like they have anything there for you. You just see that
Well,
you're
just
like,
the
oh,
house.
You get to say you were there.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
that's
you
how.
could-
That's honestly how
Yeah.
I felt about most things in Europe. To be
yeah.
honest. With you.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Like Notre Dame was cool, but I was like, that's great.
Here it
Wait,
is.
Notre Dame. Isn't this the one that was on fire?
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
half of it is half of it is good and half of it isn't. But the
Oh,
front of it
God.
is fine, so we could still see
Okay,
the front of
the
it.
front-
It's under
the front's fine.
construction though.
That poor
Um,
hunchback died in the fire.
Yeah, yeah, sad day. It actually did happen. I don't know if you guys knew that.
It did happen.
True story.
His hunch was very flammable because of all the fat
Yeah.
content
Yeah.
in it.
Just
'Cause the hunch is
exploded.
predominantly fat.
It was,
God.
it was
It's
grotesque.
It's like a candle on his back.
Oh my God.
But-
You didn't have to do that, but I'm kind of glad that you did. That was
I'm sorry. This is why I don't get out often. I say these crazy things.
it just keeps escalating. You're like, oh, okay, Kelly said that. It's like, oh, and she said that. Oh, okay, okay. Oh,
it's a very
it's
visceral painting
still
that you just
happening,
made in my
okay.
mind.
I'm sorry. I don't. Yeah. Like, this is why I say introverted. I keep to myself. I have very strange
That's
contributions.
So nasty. Coming from Sulfur Squirrel, that's probably it.
I'm gonna write in my diary today. Kelly said something very disgusting on stream about a
Because we're
hunchback and
hereditary.
fat.
I never want to have her on again. Anyway, on that note, subscribe to her at Jedi Bunny on YouTube,
Oh my
guys. If you
gosh.
haven't already. She's a sweetheart. You'll love her content.
Yeah, thank you, Kelly, for being here.
Yeah,
We'll
thank you.
definitely have her on again.
Thank you for putting up with me.
Also, like the stream. We keep
Oh, yeah.
forgetting to
Yeah, we
tell you guys to
never
do
say
that.
that.
but
Like the stream.
Like the
Makes a
stream.
difference.
And comment your house in Harry Potter
Yeah.
in the comment section.
And your favorite horror
below.
movie.
And your
Question
favorite
of the
horror
day.
movie.
Yeah.
And,
Harry Potter house horror movie. What else?
and join our Discord.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that about sums it up.
Yeah, leave your social security numbers in the
Yeah.
in the comments.
Yeah, and checks payable too. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks guys, and may the force be with you all. We'll see you guys next week.
Later.